Hey guys, look at what we did using liquid epoxy to make this project look like solid rock. We had such a good time making this piece. In this video, we're going to show you a couple of different techniques, as well as this one, of how to take liquid epoxy and make it look like natural stone. We're using Coat Countertop epoxy products to accomplish these techniques, and the results are second to none. We had a great time doing this. We actually made this with some folks who've never used our products before. Look at what they accomplished on their very first try. Stay tuned and enjoy the video.
There you go. And I don't want everything the same color. That's why I'll start one place. I leave that alone now. Maybe I'll put a little bit more right here. Just one or two. Uh-oh. And you just kind of go through, and anything now at this point that doesn't look natural, just touch it and move it. So, and I'm not putting too much spray paint down, and then I'm just gonna hit it. See what that does? Wow. Hey guys, Mike here with StoneCoatCountertops.com. I'm with Eric and Angie from Fruitland, Idaho, and they came out to see Stone Coat Countertops. Have you ever done this before?
No, first time.
I said you were interested in the lighter colors, the whites, the marbling effects, things like that. Yeah. We're going to show you a bunch of different techniques of where we start with the marble and how you can proceed down the line to really turn it into something very natural looking. Cool. You guys ready? You excited?
I am.
All right. All right, here we go. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sand with 220 grit. If you feel the edges, this has been primed already with 2 coats of paint and primer in one, and the edges feel kind of rough, right? So that's what we do. All we got to do is just quickly. See, feel that section right there, how it just feels more smooth? Yeah. That's what you're looking for, because the surface tension of the epoxy will catch that roughness and not want to flow, so that's why we just make it smooth. So if one of you guys wants to do the edges, the other person can just sand that top just to get rid of any high points that may be there.
How you get your work done, huh?
That's right, yeah. See, you didn't know you were going to be put to work and doing our work for us, right?
That's okay, I'm all right with that.
How long have you guys lived in Idaho?
About 12 years.
Oh, just use dry paper towel. That's all you need to dust it off with. A little residue on there doesn't hurt it whatsoever. And it bonds very, very tenaciously.
You know, I love simple.
That's the key. All right. Next step, we're going to mix the epoxy. So in doing coats, we're going to do 2 coats. First coat is your color coat. Today we'll only do 1 coat. It'll be ready for the clear coat tomorrow. But the reason we do a clear coat is because when we use additives like your spray paint, your metallics, and your alcohol, it'll create surface tension and divots. And you saw some of the pieces that we hadn't done a clear on yet, and they're not perfect. And so that's why we will always do a clear. Plus that's where you get your longevity. That's where the epoxy isn't inhibited by anything else you've added to it. But some of these effects are caused because you're mixing things that don't want to be mixed. So they're fighting each other and creating those effects. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use our normal Stone Coat Countertop epoxy. We're going to mix it 1 to 1. We're going to do 3 ounces per square foot. So on this piece, we're going to use about 42 ounces. So we're going to mix up, you know, let's mix up 48 ounces. That way we have a little extra, and I'll show you some fun things to do at the end. But if you'd like to mix it, just do 24. We start with part B because it's a thinner viscosity, and then part A automatically wants to go in it. And when we tell people how to measure, don't weigh it, because part A weighs more. So just by volume.
So that's 24 ounces of each?
Yep, you got it.
Just like making a cake.
Yes, sir. Whenever we do a marbleized technique, we like to add our base color tint. The reason we do that is because then everything that you add to it, the epoxy's tinted, and it softens all those effects up. If we just kept it clear, you see through down to your base, and so everything's more of a hard line. So when you put spray and things like that, it stays hard and drastic. When you want it to be soft and marbleized, that's when you go with the base color tint.
Corner,
yep.
Yeah.
So I'll shake that up. Whenever you do this, you use about 2 ounces per quart. So we got roughly 2 quarts in there. We're going to add about 4 ounces. All right, and this is an 8-ounce container, so it'll tint all the way up to a full gallon of epoxy. So you don't want to use too much, but and a little goes a long way. And so I'll pour it in and then you guys mix it, okay? Okay, go ahead and mix that in. I just pour it right in the middle and I stop short of each end. That way we trowel the field or the center of the piece and then we work the epoxy out towards the edges. So I'll have you pour it out, I'll trowel out half of it, show you how I do that, and then you guys will do the other half and just take turns and we'll all have a good time.
Okay.
Hunger Games, dude.
You're right.
All right, so right here, this is critical. When you start getting towards the edges and the bottom, if you're gonna have epoxy that wasn't mixed, that's where it's gonna hang out, right? So what we do is, you can use every last drop, which is what we wanna do, right? We don't wanna waste anything, but you wanna mix this right into the mass of epoxy. Right. The reason that you do that is because if I put it over here, then when I go to mix this again, it's not gonna be totally mixed. So I'll take everything right here, I'll scoop it out, I'll put it right here, and then I'm going to take my trowel. Now the reason that we use that notch trowel versus another tool is because it's also helping us mix. And then we chop everything with the brush. That's a third time it helps us mix. We used to get sticky spots when we didn't use a drill, when we didn't use the trowel, and we didn't use the brush. Since we've done it that way, you will not get sticky spots. No.
Makes sense.
No, yeah, it's just insurance. You know, we have this set at the angle, so that's about the angle you want to trowel, okay, about like that. When people put it too steep, it takes too much epoxy off. Exactly. So you guys have obviously used trowels before. It'll be second nature. So right here, I'll just get in there and mix what I scraped out. Okay, just really kind of get in there, mix it around, and then when I trowel this and chop it now, I know I'm going to be okay. All right. So I'm gonna do half of this, and you're going to do that half. Okay. So I'll just take this material, and I just start using that like I'm troweling out a floor, and I just turn my trowel a little bit to push that mass where I want it to go. And I'm not going over those edges, right? I'm just, and see how I'm putting up a leading bead there. I don't want to push that off the edge. So now I'm just going to get it going right over the edge, just enough to coat that edge and not waste a bunch of epoxy. Then I'll do that same thing coming back at you. Right there, and then I'll pull a little bit over here, get this.
What about, you get a little flake, just pull it out? Sweet.
Yeah, so let me go do this side here. All right, so now I'm just going to scrape the remainder of this back to you. Now you guys are ready to trowel that out. Yeah, all your epoxy's kind of right here, so you want to work that whole thing back. Exactly. Sweet. So that 3 ounces per square foot's a good, we'll have a little bit of extra, but you want to account for a little bit extra if you're brand new, because you will waste a little bit more than normal, you know. I'll pull it, stop short, okay, and then I'll turn it and push it this way, boom.
That way.
And then I'll bring it back that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the most efficient way we found where you don't waste anything.
So you don't waste anything.
Yep. See how you're a little steep on your trowel too? Yep. That's all right.
So.
Yep.
Like that?
Perfect. There you go. And now you got a bead built up, and just push a little bit of that over, but don't push it all over, because we're going to use the rest of it as effects at the end.
So then you'd want to go back this way. So you can bring it
Yeah.
back into the
See how
fold of it.
see how a lot of it's going? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. You're all right. That's good. So I don't worry about being real even until I get it all to the perimeter, and then I just do what I call mow the lawn. So I'll just start at one end, I'll just pull it, I'll pull the excess here, and just work my way across that whole piece. And then I'll push all my excess right here, and I'll scrape that excess into my bucket.
It's okay. Oh, that's right. I remember you do the brush kind of on the edge.
Yep, exactly.
I was worried about
Yeah.
getting too much or not enough. But
Yeah, no, you're good. So I'll show you how to chop it. I'll take and I'll pre-strip these of bristles, and then I'll chop it in our bucket just to prime it.
Right.
And then when I chop, I don't use the point of that brush. I'm using the heel so that it spreads out like that, and I'll just start randomly. You don't do rows, okay? You don't do rows like that.
The randomness.
You want to go random. And then overlap those edges. When you chop it, it'll also push material, and then we brush those out last, okay? So there's one for you.
Okay, I'll start down here.
There's one for you. Awesome. And I don't think I de-shed it, so we'll probably get a loose bristle, but that's okay. And this is a good, like, normally we start people out on a small piece when it's their first time, but this is a good piece to show you how to do like a real size countertop.
Yeah,
you know?
this is awesome. You guys are...
And if you were doing a very, very large kitchen and you had a long run, you just start with 2 quarts at a time, do that section, get it all done, then start your next section and just chop them together. And this will still be drying while you're doing this, and so you could just continue on that way.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, well, how do you do, you know, real big runs and...
Because we have a very large.
Right. All right. Yep. Now you just do your edges and long strokes on those edges. And I like to turn my brush with the edge so that you keep all. Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Nice.
Okay.
We got bubbles in it, and we're just going to torch those out. The key with torching it is the right speed. I equate it to like hosing off a sidewalk. Okay. So I get it pretty close. And we'll just start torching that out. And I'm not sitting there worried about getting every bubble out, because as you can see, as I keep going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you just. Yep. So you just
I was like,
simply.
okay, where's the trick video when he does that? 'Cause
No.
there's no trick video.
No.
It really does.
So I'll give you that one, and then I'll give you that one, and you guys can torch those out. Yeah. Good distance. You want to get your flame pretty close, and then it works really well.
It really does disappear. It really does disappear, folks.
Anyways,
this is beautiful. We could leave it just like this.
that's just a chunk of monkey in there or something. So we got a little.
Love that.
So it's really self-leveling. So when I do stuff, you could even. This is your reservoir, right? This is where you can pull stuff from. When you do a second coat, a clear coat, you got to be a lot more careful. You don't want to pick stuff off of a dirty surface and put it in there, because you'll get a particle that creates that high point or something like that. So on this coat, it's so forgiving.
It is.
That's really neat.
I'm going to show you one section with like our classic Carrara marble, and then we're going to do more of a metallic Carrara marble, and then we're going to progress to, let's say you messed up your piece or your client hated it. I'll show you how to not waste all the epoxy. You can kind of reset your canvas and then go again, okay? So I'll show you kind of that progression. We'll do a bunch of techniques in one, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to add a little bit of black. We used to use different color grays, different color spray paints to make a Carrara marble, because we wanted like soft gray all the way up to hard lines. Well, what we found when we tint this white, every time we tap it with the brush, it adds more white to what we did. So you're getting all those shades automatically. So we just use black, okay? And the whole key with this is you can always add more, but you can't take it out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my little palette of material right here, and I like using plastic versus paper when I'm masking, because the material will pull off and this stays wet. If it's paper, it soaks it right up. So I'm going to tap just the heel of my brush in there. I don't have a lot of paint, right? I'm going to tap right there. Now this is where I start, and I'm going to work out from here, but I'm not going to keep tapping the same spot too much, because then everything becomes the same color. And a lot of our samples out there, they have variation. It's not just blah, one color, right?
Variation,
yeah, so I'm going to tap that, and now I have less material on there, so I'm just going to kind of work out from that section, leave that kind of dark, and then just pull it out. And I'm going randomly, but this sorry Mitch, but this looks too fake, right?
Yeah.
So now I have very little material of black on my brush, so I'm going to go in and just fill in the blank, okay? Because I don't want pieces that are unchopped, because then it starts looking really fake.
Right.
So I'm going to chop that all out, where I'm not coming back and over chopping this. Maybe I could pull it out a little bit more, and now it still looks like a brush did it, so that's where the torch comes in. Okay, so I'm going to grab the torch, and I'll meld this and make it look really fancy. Okay, I'll make it look real natural. And this is what I call touch and go. Okay, so if I sit here and hold it to try to force this to move until I'm happy, you could burn it. Okay, so I'm going to torch it until it moves and then back off. let it rest for a second, and come back to that section. So I'll keep working other sections and then come back, okay? So I'll get in here, see how that immediately starts to make it look natural? And then I'll just get in here, and that's what you're seeing me do on the video, which it's hard to translate sometimes, you know? So you can see it's erasing a lot of those brush marks. Yep.
Yeah, it's really neat.
So that's a technique that's really easy to use, really easy to do. And this you can do, and half your customers would want that color.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is a really popular color, but let's say they don't want that much black, you know, then you're just adding just touches of color, right? Just very little bit, and just chopping that in, and it starts to look, you know, just put enough to where they're happy. But I like variation, so why don't you guys do a section, work the section like that, practice that a little bit, and then we'll move on from there. Now, tell the audience, because they can't smell, what are you smelling?
I'm shocked. Yeah. I really didn't even notice the smell until you said something, and then
it's
right.
Slight.
And we have a vent here, but we don't even really use it because it's not.
Well, that was one of my questions. Is okay. What's the viscosity? I mean, what's your smell?
Right.
There is none. There's really no smell.
So when
good at random.
Yeah, that's good, man. You want to start torching out what he did there just to see if you can soften it, and then you guys could switch. You can get closer. There you go. Good.
Go and pull. You know.
Yep.
Get close and get back.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then work other sections and come back to what you want. Don't overheat it. If that makes sense.
Looks just like a marble or a granite, you know, or in the rock.
I love it. No, it's people like this technique.
If we get a little accidental drip like that, what do we?
You can just tap it and then come back and torch that. You know. And I'll chop out a piece. Like when you get comfortable, you'll do a piece like this in a couple minutes, you know, and then you go back and you make it look real. Like you start, just how you pick that up, you're going to pick up things that people pick up, go, that looks fake, and then you just address it, you know, and you leave stuff that looks natural. A little bit closer on the section you want, and then, yep, there you go, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I wouldn't keep messing with that section, work something else, and then come back to it.
I don't know, it looks
That's
good.
really neat.
Cool.
That is.
All right, let me do a section.
Yep.
I'll show you just kind of the speed that we go, and you'll see what I mean, and that's how you can really get production going.
This is why I wanted to come here, so I could, you know, it's different when you do it, and you're doing it with somebody that's like you guys. But yeah, it's just a...
See how it just kind of puts color in pretty quick.
It really is. And you can see the difference in your technique
Yeah, so
too.
it's almost like
You
what
really-
you said, you kind of spread out so it's more of a veining.
Yep. So you can really, you don't need a lot of color to make it look natural, and I don't want everything the same color. That's why I'll start one place. I leave that alone now. Maybe I'll put a little bit more right here. Just one or two. Boom. Yeah, so why don't you finish up that section, just kind of integrate with Mitch, and you could get a little bit more black if you want it here. And
Way out.
yeah.
So you fan your way out.
See these swirlies?
Okay, yeah.
How it's still coming. That little line I don't like. You can change it up and use the tip.
And you don't want bald white spots.
you don't want-
That'll all show up as kind of fake.
Okay. See, that's really neat.
You just touch it a little bit. It's kind of cool, exactly. So you kind of leave that in.
And I'll come in here and just... So I get really close and...
It's a done deal.
See how easy that is to do when you... And honestly, I tell people, if you can't do it with your eyes closed, you're probably working too hard at it. So you want to just get it out, kind of look, okay, I don't like that line, you know, so I can maybe heat it up, tap it a little bit, heat it
What
up.
about these little bubbles right there? They got
None of that matters. Yeah, we'll come back and torch everything.
There you go.
None of that matters. Yeah. You guys want to torch it out and just play with that color a little bit longer, just see what you... And there's another torch there if you want to play with it. Yeah, right?
I think it's...
This is a really popular...
Did it, you really can't tell when
No.
they started.
I think
See,
it's
that
awesome.
would be, this is what I want.
Yeah. We can do this.
Nice. All right, guys, you've made our basic Carrera marble. We used white base tint with black spray paint. What do you think?
Super simple and beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. I would have not have guessed without seeing a video and actually being here that it was this easy.
So you're in the trades, you guys work for people all the time. This would appease a lot of people's taste.
Yeah.
You know, they like this kind of a look. It's
Yeah.
a classic look, and it's not going anywhere. It resembles Carrara marble or a white marble, which is timeless, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, so let's go ahead and pretend that you're making this as a sample and your customer hates it, okay? What we do when we're in the house is we'll actually include the customer. We'll say, come over here, let's make your piece. We'll start with a small piece in the kitchen, or maybe right to the right of the stove where it's a little piece. Or if we're doing this offsite in our own shop, we'll make a sample, we'll take a picture, we'll send it to our customer. Let's say we send them this and we love it and they go, oh, I hate it, it's too busy, or I don't like it. You don't want to scrap all your work that you did and waste all the money in epoxy. So we're going to take our brush and we're going to meld this out. Okay, so I just do long strokes and I'm just going to come through here and soften this all up. And this becomes a look and a technique in itself, but it's really a way to clean our slate and kind of start over without really starting over.
Just pretty much the weight of the brush is on there, lightening.
I'm not pushing that material off the edge.
Right.
I'm stopping short and bringing it back. So you guys want to brush the rest of that out?
Yeah.
There's one more brush right over there, yeah. Perfect.
And then you probably want to go full length.
Okay.
Full, usually looks better so you don't get those start and stop points.
But that piece, after you do this, you have a whole different style from there.
Yep.
Well, there's
Just a tiny
really, to
bit.
be honest with you, there's an unlimited number of variations that a person could do.
You know, sometimes that's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. And we recommend that you start with colors that you've seen on the videos and mimic them, make your own samples, then you could show them to your customer. So the only thing that I don't like about doing that technique is that you can pick up brush marks. And so I'll show you what we do is we actually get it to that point and then we'll use a rag, a real expensive tool, right?
Oh, no, you're going to ruin it.
And then we just start dragging it to hide that that's man-made. And so you do that and it puts more of a natural look. So why don't you guys go ahead and rag it out and then we'll torch it and watch what happens.
That is crazy. That it's...
And again, it's just pretty much the weight of the rag and the drag on the top of it.
That's interesting.
And you know, we do this and sometimes this is what you're going for. So you just add that spray paint, chop it. You really don't care what it looks like because you know you're going to do this.
It'll melt.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest with you, that's an amazing look.
It is, it is. We'll take our torch at this point and then you'll soften it up. So see, you get some of those not perfectly straight.
So by taking the torch, you can actually move that line a little bit if you want.
Just a little bit. And you get these really natural.
You get that wavy, That is a luscious stuff. I like that better.
So that's in
Like a wood grain here.
It is amazing.
yeah, take a picture of that.
That's beautiful.
Now try to duplicate that, right?
You could very easily.
That's the cool thing about this, though, is you're never going to get...
Yeah, you'll be able to make it where you follow if you use the white base and the black spray paint, and I did a piece here and a piece over here in the kitchen, you use, just like natural stone, they're not the same pattern, but it's going to be the same colors, it's going to match.
That really is awesome.
And what else is cool is you
Send me some of those, right?
you can pick grain pattern. And so let's say you have a kitchen with a big U shape. You can get all the grain running the same direction, which if you were to do that with natural stone, you have a massive amount of waste.
This really is phenomenal. I mean, it's even better. I thought it was awesome before.
I
think
this
it's
one
even
better.
better.
Yeah, that's why we do this progression, is so that you know, okay, I don't like it, what do? I keep working with the material. And if you know techniques, and those techniques are, what did we do? We chopped it, then we brushed it, and we ragged
What
it.
about something like this?
Just dig it out with your finger.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a little blip.
What we're doing is we're picking up yuckies from our table and our used plastic
Well, I
and
know,
stuff like that.
But that's what I like. I like seeing stuff like that. Then I can ask.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen
Yep.
on a job site or yeah.
Q-tips are good,
And then you
toothpicks
can
are
just-
good,
and
things
then
like
you
that
can
to
just
have.
Torch it out.
and you'll lose the
See, and that's what it's.
Well, another thing that's cool to do over stuff like that is get a little bit dripping, and then just you'll put like a natural thing in there.
So now what do you do with your edge?
Let me see that brush, Mitch. If we were done, because you're pushing things over uneven, you're going to get drips. We just start and do long strokes. Boom. Brush those edges out like that.
And so it gets rid of that.
If you were to-
dimple.
But your first, oh no, the dimples on the, I'll show you how we sand those off.
Oh, okay.
But typically, we'll put Tyvek tape under this on a job site.
Oh, okay.
Come back the next day, peel that tape. And when we router this, it's a 1/4 inch router on the top, a 1/8 inch router on the bottom. If we didn't router the bottom, you get a big coagulation of material that builds up, so that draws it under to your tape, and then you peel that.
Okay.
And you got such a thin layer there that it doesn't want to peel the epoxy. Let's say you want to change it. We want to go something different. Okay, so we're going to start our next technique. I'll give.
Customer says, but I want more silver in there.
Yeah, so.
Stuff that you mix up, you have this, I
Yeah.
mean, that we can get.
Yeah, shake that up.
Metallic.
So these are our metallic powders mixed with 91% isopropyl alcohol. Just rubbing alcohol you can get from Walgreens or Walmart.
Oh, okay,
right?
so we put the alcohol,
Yeah, we just have the metallic. So these are the same, these are really high-grade metallic additives, the same thing that you're going to put in like an automotive finish, the same thing you're going to use in arts and like different nail polishes. It's actual metal ground up, so it retains that pigment. It doesn't fade, right? But you got to have a way to disperse it that's compatible with the epoxy, so that's what the alcohol is. And these are really fine mist bottles, and then we have a heavy mist bottle, and I'm going to show you the difference. So let's just go and randomly spray these out. And then we'll trade places. Uh-oh. We used pearl, we used bright silver, black, bright silver, white, and what did you have?
I had the white.
Okay, so all the same family, but subtly different. All this is going to start to move and meld and start to look really, really cool, but I'll let it kind of sit and it'll move because it's self-leveling, and that's in alcohol, which will disperse. Now if we torch it right now, it's going to light up, right? But if you wait a couple more minutes, you're fine. So when you're in the house and they got curtains this far from there, don't spray their curtains and light it up. This looks really natural. And some people, this is a finished counter. Like this is a
I was
really
gonna say, yeah, some people might like it.
yeah, and this looks like a white granite. You know what I mean? It looks pretty cool.
See, that looks really cool right through there.
Yeah,
So you just kind of touch your finger on here, break that surface tension,
right.
and
Yep.
it self-levels right
That's what we do on all those. Just where it's gone down to the surface. See those? Just move them with your finger,
Touch it exactly like that.
and that's what you'll see me doing on the videos and teaching classes. And just this is, you just kind of go through, and anything now at this point that doesn't look natural, just touch it and move it.
No,
It looks really, really cool.
this is a nice.
Those metallics did to this darker patch here. I mean, it changed the whole look of it.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it almost looks like a wood grain right there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty neutral, I'm not a big color guy, you know? so-
Pick your family, leave it. See how everything's in the same flavor, and that's. So you said I like the whites and the marbles. That's why we grab these colors.
The gray, I do like gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit.
So this is a heavy mist spray bottle versus the light mist, and when we spray a little spray paint on the top and we hit it with this, it'll fracture it out like granite. Okay. So I'll. Where do you think, Mitch? Right here. Okay, I'll do that. So, and I'm not putting too much spray paint down, and then I'm just going to hit it. See what that does?
Wow.
So it doesn't take a lot to give yourself an effect. Come over here, hit that. So that'll start to move, and this is another thing you don't want to judge too early, because you see how this is already looking more natural? Okay, so you guys pick a spot and do that technique.
So you can do it kind of
Anywhere you want. Hit a little more paint, Nice. Cool. All right. Your turn.
Which direction?
So see how you're really close?
Yeah.
That's going to be a different, I don't like being that close, but you'll see why. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. It changes it to gray.
Yeah, and that's okay. That might work, you know, but to me, that'll look a little bit more man-made. You know what I mean? Yep.
Stripe.
So let's just take this and we'll.
Say model it.
But see, that's what's cool about this, is you can do
You mess
that.
up like I just did.
That's all right. You just went super close. That's all. That's all. You know what we'll do? let's just take our rag and re-rag it, and we'll hit it again and just layer it. Okay. So yeah, take your rags and rag that out again. Because on that spray paint, if you fog that spray paint, you're always safe. If you go too close, that's what happens. And yeah, see how you're missing spots? You want to miss some areas so you see through it down to that other section.
Like just like that.
Yeah. Ooh, look, he missed too. Don't mess up my spot.
No, you're good. All right, let's grab our metallics and re-hit it.
Well, and it almost seems like to me, the more layers you add, the deeper the depth. Is that
That's exactly right. See this here?
Yeah.
So I just take my hand on those edges and I'll just start working that color in a little bit.
So it's not no color at all.
It's not running, yeah.
So you don't want the edges to be white.
Yeah, you see how I'm grabbing some color too? And I'll just rub it on the edge. Yep, you can just grab some of that paint and just get some on the edge. Let's do this. Let's grab a paint stick and I'm gonna do a couple like spider veins, okay? So I'll get it dripping off my paint stick, just go down. See how I don't wiggle that a lot?
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Okay, so let's have you guys start putting those in. And you don't want to start on the piece. See how this looks kind of funky?
Yeah.
Start off and then finish off. Yep. Nice.
Here, how do you want to show him?
And Mitch is grabbing some of the slop off the deck and he'll start putting some in too.
I'm going to start off.
Maybe I shouldn't do this.
You're fine. You're fine. What's this, Mitch? Where'd you get this?
Silver. It's a bright metallic silver.
Cool. And then what we'll do is see how these are going down to the deck again? Just start tapping them. And at first it looks fake because of you touching it, but as it moves it'll look good.
So where do you get these little tripods?
Oh, Home Depot or Walmart.
Oh, they have
They're just called paint pyramids.
Oh, okay.
They're great.
So can you do floors with this stuff?
Yeah, we have a floor epoxy that we just use metallics in, and we have some videos on how we do that. There's a whole giant business just in doing those.
You want to be able to reach the floor, so you have...
Oh yeah, we trowel it out with squeegees and rollers, and you just start and work your way out of the room.
But do you have shoes that you...
Yeah, spike shoes.
Oh.
So that technique I'm doing, you load up a stick with epoxy.
Okay.
And that's how you keep those lines fine. You load up the stick with epoxy, spray it with a spray paint cover,
And then...
give it to drizzle, and then just walk it over.
Yeah, that's cool.
See how like that extra epoxy that we didn't waste in that bucket, how it's coming into play, you
Yeah,
know?
that's really cool.
Ooh, you did, looks cool. to me.
Yeah, that looks really cool now.
Some part of the piece.
Absolutely. That's the best part of it now.
You take a step back and look at it as one.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it is. It's very cool. I mean, I like the other stuff before, but it seems like we can't mess up.
If you pre-wipe your hands, you're not going to get buildup on these buttons and have your torch not work.
Yeah.
So I'll just get in here and just start moving some of this just to make it meld, some of it a little bit more, some of it look like if I don't like that
Yeah.
being too, boom, I could move that, you know.
Yeah.
So anything that looks like super fake, if I don't like it, I can. And then when I'm done, I'll just torch the whole thing out again just to get it. And this coat doesn't matter how flat it is, but you can see even after all those dimples, it starts to level, you know.
Like that.
It catches that light just right.
Even touching that, it just makes it a really fine line.
Yeah.
You guys want to help me torch it out and just kind of finish off anything that may or may not look natural? This looks good, Mitch. Mitch always adds that color on the epoxy and does the fine lines, and they look sweet. That silver changes color as you walk by it.
It catches the light.
Yeah.
Because if you step back and you don't have the light, you don't see it.
So you could see why the spray paint and the alcohol mixing together really is cool.
That's really neat.
This is a good evolution of the piece too.
Yeah.
See, and I like how there's a lot of depth in this.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you could see down to some of our first techniques through the clear spots.
And right through here, it's really interesting because you can see underneath, but then there's that silver.
That depth.
And like I would go through now and just look, see how none of these are super round anymore? But if that's too round, you can just move it out a little bit. And doing that where it brings drips back in, like if I grab this and then bring a drip back into it, that starts to look
Changes it.
real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's really neat. Like this one.
Yeah, move it. Yeah, you can just grab some silver and bring it in. There you go. And then you could, boom.
Done.
Yep. Yep. And this is a piece too that would gather a lot of like, how'd you make that? You know, people would be.
I mean, if I wasn't here, I'd be saying, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah. Angie, Eric, I had a great time. Mitch had a great time. We really had fun making this piece. What'd you guys think of it?
It was easy. I mean, except for where I messed up, but it turned out okay.
What happened to your mess
Actually,
up?
that wasn't a mess up.
No, it's a happy accident, right?
There you go.
it's
And it's easy, and if you don't like something, you can fix it.
Mitch, you said this is your favorite spot now.
Right.
I mean, it is, and I like that you know, you went really close with the spray paint, and unless we move that around, it's going to kind of look fake.
Yeah.
But now we did move it around, and
It turned out.
Well, as we're sitting here, it actually looks like it's getting prettier and prettier. It must be moving a little because it really is quite gorgeous.
yeah, it'll move for a while. And the key too is the more metallics that you add with the alcohol, it will wash out more. The more spray paint that you add, it'll stay put more. So when you add conjunctions of both, it really has a happy medium there.
Well, and the layering really gives it real depth.
Is this what you guys thought you would create when you walked in the doors?
No.
That's your first piece you ever made, right?
Yeah, that's quite amazing.
It's
I
wonderful.
can't wait to get home and start doing this.
Cool, man. I mean, and it's key with colors too. If we used really obnoxious colors, this could be too loud or too ugly, and this is going to appease a lot of people. Some people may not like this color. I'm absolutely in love, man. You guys did awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching our video on how to make a white awesome piece. I haven't named it yet. We got to think of a name, right?
Okay.
Thanks for watching our video on this cool one. Give us a name below. Comment below. What should we name this recipe? Hey, visit us anytime at stonecoatcountertops.com. And until next time, from Stone Coat Countertops, you got this. We'll see you soon. Nice. Good job. Nice. That was sweet.
Hey guys, we really love how this piece came out. Look at how those embedded rocks look like just deposits of quartz and all the striated lines. Wow, this was so much fun. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to show you how to apply the clear coat right after this. Remember, comment below, what should we name this recipe? Thanks again for watching. Give us a like and a thumbs up. That really helps out. Thanks guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the video.
You guys don't mind once you get this done if I could put this on my Facebook?
Oh, absolutely. Don't mind. That's what we'd love it, man. People who are looking in Idaho that want you to come do their counters, how can they find you?
Well, if you're in Idaho, all you need to do is Google the Fix-It Guy, and I'll pop up #1 on your search.
All right, the Fix-It Guy. I like that. So you're a handyman. Now you're getting into countertops, floors, those kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah, show them your shirt. Let's check that out.
That's my shirt.
The Fix-It Guy. Sweet. What do we name this?
I don't know. It's amazing.
Hey guys, you guys watching this video, comment below. Give us a name. What should we name this recipe? That's a fun activity, right? Okay guys, we let this piece set up overnight. We're now going to do a clear coat. We're going to sand it, wipe the dust, and just apply our clear coat in that same fashion we did with the trowel and the brush. Torch it out, and this thing is going to lay out like a sheet of glass. What a beautiful piece. Wait till you see it clear coated. Let's get started. Oh my goodness, this clear coat lays out so amazing. I love what it does to each and every color that we do this to. You know, you may have a dimple here and there or imperfections from that first coat. Not in the second coat. You simply mix that 1-to-1 ratio, you trowel it out, you chop it, you torch it 3 times, it becomes crystal clear. This finish is amazing. Eric and Angie from Idaho, check this out. Great work. Thanks for joining me on this project. I had a blast meeting you guys.